I wanted to talk a little bit about the coronavirus. The first thing I want to talk about is the panic buying. Now, on one hand, I'm a survivalist, I'm all for prepping. So, I mean, I get it. And late is better than never. But mark my words, if this is when you start shopping for your emergencies, you're too late. But like I said, it's better than not at all. Hopefully, the people who, this is very much like Y2K, if we remember that. My family was like, okay, they were prepared for it if it did happen, but that was the nature of my family, anyways. They already had food hidden and guns hidden and things like that. We were not very worried about toilet paper. We lived out in the desert and we had ways of dealing with that. Usually it meant just being at the lake. But there were other options. You could use a thin rock or something, and eventually later when you got to go bathe, you'd be all right. You could clean everything up. You could get there were grasses and some plants that could be used. So at any rate, that was the least of our worries. More about food, protection, things like that. Water. Anyhow, now I think there's a lot of these people are selfish that were doing all this panic buying. Uh, I had a number of issues at the store myself, just doing our normal grocery shopping, and people are really selfish. This is when you see people, nobody is doing the community thing. Nobody is being like, hey guys, neighborhood, we got toilet paper. Let us pool our resources. No one's doing that. It's every man for themselves already. Less than 100 people in the country have died from this. Not saying that that's not something to worry about, but it's already in their minds, every man for themselves. It's a little extreme. It shows how people are. Every single problem I've seen so far has been because of people's reactions to this. The supply chain's disrupted. I'm running tonight though. So, in fact, they lifted a bunch of the restrictions for truck drivers. So, we should be restocking those shelves soon. And that's something I'd like to bring up. Now, if you're a person like me who's a bit of a conspiracy theorist, and you do subscribe to the idea that there is an elite, kind of a shadow government of powers that be, if you will, that are, if not making these things happen, certainly manipulating and using these things to their advantage. If you're someone like that, it's easy to think that maybe this is all fake or whatever. I don't think that this is fake. I don't think they need to fake it. It's kind of like people saying the school shootings are fake. I think that that's what's scary about these sociopaths is they are willing to let people die to be able to push their agendas and things. And I think that that's the same thing with this virus. There's going to be a virus every single year. There's pandemics every year. Go figure this stuff happens on election years, that these quarantines and stuff like that. Uh, Pandemic response teams are developed on election years. Not a surprise. I'm not getting too far into the politics, but what I do want to say is that people out there that are out worried about the conspiracy theory end of this, I really don't think that's the case this time. I think that the powers that be are smarter than that. I don't think that they would want to release a virus that kills all of us. I don't think that they would want to have us go into pandemonium because we can't do their jobs for them. We can't keep everything running the way they need it to. They can get us worried and stuff. They could get us about that, but they can't. I don't think they need to. I don't think they want us to not be able to do the jobs that keep their pockets full and whatnot. They do want us controlled though, and they do this periodically to keep. This gives them an excuse to pass laws and things like that. Get people under the idea that maybe socialism is good, but this is not a result of capitalism. Some people have said that. No, we have had increasingly socialist economy and laws ever since things like the Depression. Notice how we handled emergencies like this a lot better in previous generations before those socialist regulations and laws came around. I mean, we have a lot more controlling the supply chain and controlling the groceries and controlling, in the name of health and stuff. And I'm not saying we shouldn't be careful, because we should. What I am saying is we shouldn't allow ourselves to be fear mongered. This is something, sometimes fear is a good thing because it gets us in action. But in this case, I think it's being used to control us. It seems to be a big thing. The Democratic parties wants you to be afraid, wants us to be afraid that they're gonna. They want us to be afraid of the school shootings. They want us to be afraid that we won't have the poor being fed and whatnot, or they want us to be afraid we're not going to have health care and everything. The Republicans want us to be afraid that the Democrats are coming for our guns, and they want us to be afraid that that they're going to that socialism is only going to be bad. And I do thoroughly disagree with socialism, but to sit here and act in fear like this it causes people to make stupid decisions. Literally reduces your IQ when you have fear going through your mind. You literally are dumber. So we can't let fear act like this. If you need to buy another thing of toilet paper, buy an extra one, buy an extra two. I don't believe we're at the end of times yet with this sort of thing. I believe that could happen. I believe that is coming, but I don't believe that the societal collapse is happening yet. I believe that because the regulations were lifted for me to run, which means the infrastructure is still there. Most of the problem is people panicking. I really truly believe that. If I'm thinking that this is the end of times, if I end up being wrong, I'll be the first to say it. This is going to be the change of our dynastic cycle, where we're going to go into a different stage of society where things are going to be bad. Here, I'll be the first to say it, but I don't think that's the case. So, yeah, honestly, this could actually be really good for my bottom line the next couple weeks. And I don't think that the virus is anything to worry about. I think in actuality, one of the big things I'd like to point out is it seems like, other than big events, I understand not going to big events like sporting things, and I understand stopping school for a couple of weeks and then not allowing anybody who's symptomatic to come back. We do that. That's what our spring breaks and our winter breaks are for. It isn't just to keep everybody happy and give them a nice little break. It actually puts a damper on the flu season. So I could see how that could help things. But one of the problems with this idea of not social distancing so much, because I believe in that, but this idea of like people quarantining themselves and they stop doing the things that keep them healthy. You need to keep healthy. That's what you need to do. You need to go out and jog. You need to go out and do, you might have to go to the gym, yeah, you might have to wipe down your equipment. We should be doing all that stuff anyways. You know, don't go if you're sick, which you shouldn't have been going. But we need to get out of the house. That's one of the ways that the flu and the cold spread. They found out it's not because of the cold weather, but the cold weather brings people being in closer proximity and easily able to transmit diseases to each other because they're in a closer environment to each other. Hold on a second. What? Go. Sorry, my son decides to interrupt every video I make. So, at any rate, a lot of people are doing exactly what will make you more susceptible to this virus. Now, like I said, don't go to big events. Don't go places when you're sick, and certainly wash your hands and don't touch your face, things like that. We already shouldn't be doing that. But certainly don't stop doing things that keep you healthy. Don't don't make decisions that actually keep you in close contact with the people that are your loved ones. So if you have it, actually you being home is literally giving it to your family. Maybe you should go outside. Maybe you should go for a jog. Maybe you should spend some time outside. Go on that camping trip. I mean, a little bit. I'm not saying do things when you're really ill, you know. But people are carrying this without even having symptoms. So it might be better to actually, depending on your situation, it might be better to actually leave the house. So don't quarantine yourself to the point where you're actually making yourself sick. You could give yourself a different physical problem that makes you have an underlying condition that makes you more susceptible to this bigger virus. You see how that works? You know, your heart rate variability is low because you're sitting around at home. And your heart rate variability has an effect on your body's immune system, a big effect. So get out there and get your heart moving. Keep these juices going. I'm not saying go to the big events, but don't stop doing the things that keep you healthy. Definitely don't stop doing that. And definitely don't let the fear lead your decision. Now, fear should lead your action to some degree as opposed to not acting. Fear has a purpose. Don't discount it either. But don't fall prey to it, because it's something that is easily able to manipulate people with. You know, I do it with people all the time on a smaller scale. You know, when I'm at work and I need to get done, I make it sound like I'm gonna just leave or something. I get them a little bit afraid that that they're not gonna get what they need to get their stuff out of my way or what have you. So, you know, if you can do it, if I can do that on a small scale to like one store or something, imagine what these people who literally control all the money and make regulations can do, you know, with that one emotion, fear. Fear is the big one that I don't like when I see that someone doesn't have a good point. They don't have good point or a good fact to really understand everything, but they can say something that sounds fearful. Ignore that. Definitely. Have a good day, everybody. Try to stay healthy. Please just be healthy. Like, this is, you know, in Shanghai, you know, places like China, in Shanghai, they have an underlying health condition because they have horrible pollution. You know, everybody has an underlying condition. We don't know how this is going to affect us, and we are at the beginning of it. So whatever effect it's going to have, we haven't seen it yet. So we can't sit there and go, oh, it's going to have no effect because it has less deaths than this other thing or whatever. Well, we don't know. It's at the beginning. Those deaths are going to go up more. You know, those illnesses, people with the illness are going to go up more. What, here I am touching my face. I'll go wash my hands. Trust me. When it comes here, we have a whole different thing. You know, we got a lot of obesity here. We have a lot of people having horrible diets. You want to know what the groceries do have in stock? They have this in stock. They never had produce in stock for more than a few days at a time. They never had canned goods in stock in the back rooms for more than a few days at a time. But I'll tell you right now, they have months and months and months worth of soda in stock. They've always had that. I have to navigate to get spinach and meat and bell peppers to where it needs to go every single day at sometimes the same stores 3-4 times a week. I have to navigate around pallet upon pallet upon pallet of soda and sugary bullshit. So stay away from that stuff, guys. And they have the ability to stock food if they wanted to, but the problem is you guys aren't buying good, healthy food. You guys are buying soda. So stop buying soda. Just stop it. The soda is just bad. Stop buying soda. And eventually you'll see the back room stocked up with the stuff you are buying. Rice, potatoes, lentils, things that are good for you. You know, meat. Let's just try to be healthy. Keep your mind healthy. Don't fall into fear. Do what you have to do to be healthy. And yes, prep, but let's not panic buy to the point right now. Buy a few extra things. Start now. Buy a few extra things. We have a little bit of time if I'm still running. When I stop running, it's time to bug out. Have a good day, everybody.